Hey y'all, welcome back to Jack's Drinkwater's Southern Cooking and Barbecue. I have over-the-top smoked chili for you. If you think you've tasted the best chili, wait until you try this. Today we're smoking meat over a fiery chili base, infusing every bite with a spicy, smoky kick that will blow your mind. Let's dive right in, shall we? The first thing we need to do is fire up our smoker. We're using the Lone Star Grillz today, my favorite smoker on the planet. I'll leave a link below if you want to go check it out. They even have a financing plan. We're going to be setting our smoker to 275 degrees and try to cook anywhere between 275 and 300. You could possibly do this on a pellet smoker, maybe a grill, but you got to think, we're going to be cooking this meat on top, so in a loaf style. And then we're gonna have our chili base underneath it. So all that goodness drops. So you're gonna have some clearance down there. After you have your smoker set up, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make our chili base. That's gonna consist of 3 bell peppers, 2 onions, and some chilies, any kind you want. Could use habanero. I think habanero is gonna make it even more spicy. Today we're just gonna use some mild peppers. We're gonna use poblanos, some garlic, and there's gonna be a few other ingredients, but the vegetables, that's what we're gonna start sauteing up now. We're doing it, sauteing them up in a little bacon grease. Go in with our onions and bell pepper. We're gonna be adding some garlic to this as well. I'm gonna put that in later, but let's saute this up for a little while first. And I use this chopper. I'm gonna leave a link below on Amazon for this chopper. It makes this work a lot easier. All right, so we got our onions on here. We're sweating them down. You want them to be somewhat translucent, and we're almost there. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. Now you can see this is clumped up. I processed my garlic and I put it in the freezer, so that's why it looks like that. So we're gonna do this for about another 2 to 3 minutes. Then we're gonna take it off the heat, and then we're gonna add our spices, which is gonna be 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of chili powder, tablespoon of cumin. All right, we're ready. Let's cut the heat on this and add our spices, our dry spices. Okay, that's good. 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. All right, so the people from Texas are about ready to kick off right now, but we're using 1 can of kidney beans, 15.5-ounce can. Now again, about the beans, y'all. Come on, really? If you don't want beans in here, don't put beans in it. It's not life or death. 2.5 pounds of ground chuck, and we're using 80-20. You could do an 85-15 mix if you want, but I think that'd be less flavor, in my opinion. All right, to this ground meat, we're gonna add in some spices, which consist of 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 heaping teaspoon of Montreal steak seasoning. So we're gonna add that, sprinkle that over the top. And last but not least, we got 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce going in. There goes 1, 2. So we're gonna give this a little toss about here. You don't wanna overwork your meat. We just wanna get it lightly mixed, and then we're gonna form it into a loaf. So just try to lightly do it. Don't pack it, just kind of go from the bottom to the top. You see how it's still loose? It's not getting compacted or anything. That's what we want. All right, let's just sit this bad boy on here. So I'm using these stainless steel grates because it's a little bit more heavier duty. I ordered these off of Amazon. I don't really have a gas grill that these go on, but I thought it'd be good as, like, you know, a cooling rack or whatever. And these work great on the smoker, I find. But the object here is we want this. Come over here and I'm gonna show you. We want to put this on the smoker, and you want to make sure this loaf covers your pan, right? You don't want anything falling off the edges like right in here. You want all of this dripping into this. All right, so let's go put this joker on the smoker. We're gonna need some meat probes. So I'm gonna stick a probe in here, and we're gonna pull this meat when it is 150 degrees internal. All right. Remember, we're smoking this to an internal temperature of 150 degrees. Now, I'm anticipating that it might take, you know, an hour and a half to 2 hours, but you never know. And depending on how high you're running, I just put another piece of wood on here. We've jumped up to 300 degrees, so it should back down a little bit. It usually, this Lone Star Grillz, when you put a piece of wood on it, the temperature tends to rise a little bit, but then it kind of levels out there. So remember, 150 degrees Fahrenheit, between 275 and 300. By the way, we're using hickory wood. All right, we're an hour and 11 minutes in. We haven't looked at it. We're at 117 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's just take a peek of it, make sure it's not getting darker on one end. Ooh, wow, that looks beautiful. I think I'm just gonna leave it just like it is. Let me close this real quick. I'm just gonna leave it like that and keep letting it roll. 118 now, so maybe another hour. We'll see. All right, we're at 100, we just hit 150 degrees. It's actually at a 151 now. Let's go ahead and take this probe out. Looking good. Wow, you see it juicing? All right, I'm gonna take that out. Now, this is not a different pot. You notice it was red when we put it in there, but it's a different color now, and that's fine, because that's why I bought this pot especially for this. So what I'm gonna try to do is ease this off into here. Ow! That's a little hot. All right, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my little meat breaker upper here, and we're just gonna break it up. I know you can't see it, but we're just gonna break it up a little bit and then stir it in. All right, so we got all that meat broke up. So we're gonna throw this back on here, but I'm gonna put this aluminum foil over it now because we don't want any more smoke on it. All right, so we're gonna keep going around the same temperature, and we're gonna go for another couple hours. All right, we got about an hour left. We've been on an hour actually. I'm gonna just take it off, and we're gonna, let's shut this. Just give it a peek at it. Give it a taste. We'll maybe need to adjust some seasonings or something. Gonna give it a stir. Okay. I think we're probably gonna need to add a little bit of salt. I'm gonna put this back on there, but I'm gonna add a little bit of salt to it. And I'm gonna add a little bit of better than bouillon. And I think we'll be... All right, so what we've done is, it was already covered out on the smoker, so what I did is just to save on some fuel, we're gonna finish it off on the stove. For whatever reason, it wasn't really getting a good simmer on it. So what I've done so far is I put about this much, so a big heaping teaspoon of better than bouillon in here, and then I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of salt. It's just regular sea salt. About that much. And we're gonna give it a stir. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover it. I'm gonna put the lid back on it. And we're just gonna keep rolling. And I'm still thinking another hour. But you can see some of these vegetables, they don't look tender enough for me. That's one of the reasons why I brought it in here, because I know right now we'll have that direct heat under there and we can really get this rolling rather than having to throw a whole bunch of wood on that smoker to get it up to temp. All right, so we've been going 1 hour. We're about ready to take this off and add our little bit of ingredients here. We're gonna probably, after I add this, we're gonna cook it about another 15 minutes. But I'm adding a 1/4 cup of dark chocolate chips. Okay? And we're just gonna, let me put this lid back on. And then I'm gonna say something. Let me give it a little bit of a stir. Let me put this lid back on. Okay, so let me tell you what I've done over that hour. I've added a little bit of this juice. It's just like a pepper juice, and I just felt like it needed a little bit of acidity in it. And I've also added some of this hotty toddy rub. And I want to say this about chili. I mean, chili's very subjective. Everybody that you talk to, they think they make the best chili. And I think chili is, I mean, you know, you got the Cincinnati chili, you got Texas chili, you got so many chilies out there. And I can tell you this, I've entered many chili contests or competitions out there, and some people put corn in their chili. I mean, that's not for me, but hell, I've been beat 2 years in a row by someone that put corn in their chili. But obviously people like that. So my point is, make this chili your own. Add, you know, use the basic ingredients, but if you think you need to add something else that you like, add it. Make that chili your own. So I think we've dialed this chili in now, so let's give it a sample and let you know what I think. All right, let's give it a go. That is a delicious smoked chili. If you feel like you need to add some heat, add some heat. Add more jalapenos, add habaneros, add some cayenne pepper. If you're not into the beans, leave the beans out. You could add pork to it if you want, some ground pork to it. I mean, the sky is the limit with this chili. But it is a delicious smoked chili. You need to try it out. And I would say this, if you like your recipe of your chili, I would say this, try smoking your beef, your hamburger meat, if you put hamburger meat in there. Try smoking it as we did it in the beginning and use that meat in your own recipe. Whatever it is you feel like you need to do, do it. All right, guys, over the top smoked chili, do it.